Good evening. I am so excited to be here. And as past Director Al was sharing that story about 50 years ago, you do realize that if there hadn't been a pandemic, I would have been president last year. So are you responsible? No, I'm sure you're not. But it does seem in life that quite often when we survive and move through whatever life brings us, we are gifted with the opportunity to pause, to look back, and to say, I guess it all worked out. And for me, I am so glad that this has all worked out. That I can be here, District Governor Elisa. I'm so excited that we had some time together today. I know I didn't get time yet with our council chair, but I'm so glad to have these moments with your leadership. But what is equally important to me, and often more important at this point in my life, is the time just to be with good Lions. Last night we had a small gathering to appreciate the committee that had created this entire event for us to come and enjoy. And for me, that opportunity to spend more than 90 seconds with someone and to talk about the real issues that our Lions clubs are addressing these days was a gift. And I want to thank you for inviting me to the event last evening as well as this evening. Thank you for that. I have some notes here which are important because they'll keep me on point. Some of you may know that in a former life I taught at university, and I always taught the evening classes, which meant I got the 3-hour sessions. I'm going to try to keep it under 3 hours tonight, okay? And to do that, I may need to stick to my notes. Now, this year, Lions, such as the Longview Pioneer Lions, such as you, every one of you. I'm sorry there were a couple of tables at the back I didn't get to yet tonight. Can you just give me a wave? Yeah, you as well. You as well. You and your Lions clubs are doing such important work. You are changing the world. Someone said to me, how can you be so audacious as to say that Lions are changing the world? And I said, it is not audacious. We are changing the world. We're changing the world one life, one service activity, one relationship, one project at a time. And we're changing lives in our communities, but I heard testimony tonight, testimony in this room, that being a Lion has changed your life. Am I right? Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I set 4 priorities for this year, and some of you may know them and some of you may not. I'm going to remind you either way. And that works for me because I have the microphone. The first priority is for us to reach our service potential. Because the needs in our communities, the needs in our society are not dwindling. We are seemingly not approaching utopia. There are new and emerging needs. I had the wonderful opportunity to speak with Lion Spencer, Lion Eric this afternoon. We talked about what are the needs in this town, in this community. We talked about homelessness. We talked about food insecurity. We talked about mental health issues. And that's on top of the important things we're already doing. And then how do we reach all those needs? I had the opportunity a few weeks ago to speak with a Lion, and they said, I'm just so distressed. My club was approached by a business. In fact, it was a funeral home business. And they said, we're having trouble getting work, a labor shortage. And would your club mind, maybe on Tuesdays or Thursdays, if we have a service going on, could you come out and pour the tea? You know, serve the cookies. And we'll give an honorarium every time to your club. Well, this went back to the club. The club discussed it at length and they voted no. Because they didn't have enough members to make the commitment. Wow. You know, if we're going to reach our service potential, then we need the members to deliver on our promise. Because our promise is that we serve. We also have another promise, where there's a need, and the world expects that of us. And so it is absolutely on us to make sure that we have enough lions to do that. And so I was thrilled last night to induct the newest lion in the Longview Pioneer Lions Club. Now we have some other new lions in the room. If you've been a lion for less than 6 months, please stand up and be recognized and welcomed. If you're a lion of less than 6 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stay standing. Stay standing. I'm going to invite you now to stay standing if you're a lion of less than 3 months. Less than 2 months. Oh. All right. I want you both to tell me, who is your sponsor? Hal? It's Greg? Okay. And? Your sponsor is Rick, right? We don't get anywhere without sponsors. We need people who will sponsor new members, good quality members in our community. And so I'm going to invite the 4 of you. Bring your sponsor with you. Meet me up front. In every case, someone sponsored us. Sometimes we had to tell them that we were going to join and they should sponsor us. But someone sponsored us, and that's an important function of making sure our Lions clubs are strong and sustained, and that our communities are not going to be left in the lurch without someone to serve. And so for each of you, I have my friendship banner, because each of you is helping to change the world. Welcome, Sharon, and thank you, Rick. Thank you so much for sponsoring, and thank you so much for saying yes. I'm going to let you sit down again now. So really, that is one of the most important priorities every one of our clubs has. I know service is important, it's our purpose, but people are our power. Okay, service is our purpose, but people are our power. It's our superpower. It's these volunteers, it's you and the people who didn't make it out tonight, probably because they're at home doing service. Right? That will help us sustain and reach our service potential. And our second priority this year is to work towards a greener, cleaner environment. And so today, I want to thank the Longview Pioneer Lions Club for holding off on the rain. I don't know how you did that.
It's a miracle.
It was a miracle, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
While we were out at the Lower Columbia School Gardens doing community garden cleanup. What a wonderful thing. To be able to, what a wonderful thing. Not only to invest in our environment, but to create the opportunity for young people to learn more about what some of us took for granted growing up. That you had a garden in your backyard, that you knew where food came from, and that it was healthy for you. What a gift to to give to our community, to have community gardens. And so I want once again to thank the Longview Pioneer Lions for being a part of that. And I know some of you in your individual communities are connected in that kind of work as well. So thank you. Absolutely. The third priority is our foundation. You know, we can empower even greater good through the grants that we receive from LCIF. And particularly this year as I travel, I have yet to come to a place where they say, we've never benefited from a grant. Have you had flooding? Yes, we have. And you get the emergency grants. Have you had wildfires? Oh my gosh, I couldn't even breathe the air at home in Canada last year, right? Wildfires everywhere. And that doesn't even begin to touch on the hospitals or the community centers that we've helped through matching grants. The work that we do with Lions Quest through our grant programs to make sure young people are getting the instruction they need in social and emotional learning. There are just so many things we do. And so thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your support to the Lions Clubs International Foundation. It really does magnify our power to serve. Our fourth priority this year is to share the story. Apparently, not everyone knows what Lions do. How is that possible? We're everywhere, aren't we? Yes, but a little bit quietly. And then we share on social media, and I see what you're doing, and you see what I'm doing, and so now we're just talking to each other. So, you know, we need to share the story. And I was up this morning. How many of you were with me at 7:35 when I did the radio interview on CLOG? KLO, yeah, I'm right. C is Canada. C is KLOG. And how many of you were with us this afternoon when we did another interview, KE deal, right? I got it. But, you know, we need to share the story. Because not everybody knows what Lions do. Oh, sure, they know about your cotton candy. And they know about kettle corn. And they know there's lights on Lions Island. And I saw them last night. Thank you for turning them on a couple days early. That was great. Thank you. But we need to share that story. And we need to be doing it not only on radio, not only on TV, not only on our newsletters, not only on social media. We actually need to talk to people. And so it was a wonderful opportunity for me this afternoon to be able to speak with the mayor. Mary Alice couldn't be with us tonight, but she sends her greetings, and you heard the proclamation that was prepared. And I spoke with your councillors who are also members of the Lions Club. Yeah. Stand up and be appreciated. And don't tell me that young people don't care, they do. And then we look further afield, and we look to the people who help empower our work and who will help empower our work going forward. And I need to call forward Senator Jeff Wilson, please, for just a moment. You know, going into politics is something I have explicitly chosen not to do, because it is really hard work. And at least 50 to 49 to 48 to 62% of the people will tell you you may not be doing it right at any given moment. But we know that when we serve in our communities as volunteers, we need partners. We need partners who are doing the work at the state, the county, the city level. We need partners who also care and who also serve by stepping forward and offering their public service. And so I would like to present to you my recognition gift this year for helping us change the world. Okay, so, that's the required speech about the priorities. And many of you who are Lions know that we're on a mission to grow. We are going to grow and be sustainable. We are going to choose to change rather than become extinct, right? And so we are engaged in telling our story of how service can enrich lives for us and those we serve, and how opportunities to serve within our Lions Clubs are available to good, civic-minded men and women all across our district and beyond. And the reason I'm so passionate about our mission to grow is because I see the good work you do. I see what you do. Believe it or not, I read every email I get. I read newsletters. I follow social media. Sometimes on social media, I do miss one of my 10,000 friends posting something. And please don't try to reach me by messenger because I can't read all those messages. But I see what you do, and what you do makes a difference. What Lions do is critical to the fabric of our society. Imagine if you took away the Lions Club out of your town. I mean, seriously, who would make the cotton candy? Yeah. And we can laugh because we know it's so much more than that. Am I right? Yes. Yes, because what you do changes lives. What you do changes the fabric of our communities. Where there is a Lions Club, there is what every society needs, what every human needs. Where there is a Lions Club, there is hope. Let me explain, in case you aren't a believer yet. Imagine someone feeling a lot of despair, or frustration, or hopelessness. Maybe sitting at home in the evening and thinking, nobody cares. Nobody cares. But if you live in a community where a complete stranger will step up and do good things, then no matter whether it was a good thing that impacted your life or not, you realize there are good people out there. There is reason to believe. There is hope. And that changes lives. But so do every one of our service activities. I want to tell you a story about Jennifer. I haven't met Jennifer yet, but I know I will. At least I really hope I will. I'm thinking that maybe when I meet Jennifer, it'll be a few years in the future. But I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe she'll be the President of the United States. One of those old has-beens, past President Hill. I'll go to the Advocacy Day on the Hill, or I'll be at the United Nations one day. And anyway, I'll be able to say, excuse me, President, may I ask you a question? And this is the question I want to ask her. How did you come to be in this position? Pretty straightforward question, right? And this is the answer. I just know that this is the answer. She's gonna get that little smile as she reflects on the journey. And then she's going to say to me, she's going to say, past President Hill, may I call you Patti? And I'll say, yes, may I call you Jennifer? And we'll agree on that nicety. And she'll say, Patti, it's like this. I didn't come from a rich family. And I lived on the wrong side of the tracks, so to speak. But you know what happened? When I was 3, My family took me to enjoy the free entertainment in the park because that's all we could afford. And while I was there, I got my eyes screened. There were these people, they were wearing these yellow jackets, and they came to my parents and said, "Do you want your kids' vision screened?" My parents didn't have the money. And they said, "No, it's okay, it's free." And they screened my vision. And they discovered that I needed glasses. Well, now my parents were really hooped because they couldn't afford the glasses. And you know what those people in the yellow jackets did? They helped my parents out. And they got me the glasses I needed. And the world changed. You changed my world. And then I grew up a bit more and I went to school. And because I had those glasses, I learned to read. I became a literate child, not an illiterate child. And then when I was seven, my family took me down to Lions Island and they showed me all the lights at Christmas time. And they taught me that these were there because people in my society and my community cared. And we got to enjoy that. And it enriched our lives. And it made us feel like we could participate in Christmas, even though we couldn't really afford it. And then you know what they did? They had this motorcycle ride, like 256 motorbikes, through town, and they collected all the Christmas gifts, and we had a great Christmas. And it was those people in the yellow jackets. You know what? That happened for me for one reason, and one reason only. It happened for me because I lived in a town with a strong, vibrant Lions Club. And then on top, absolutely. And a little bit later, when I was 11, those people in the yellow jackets, they showed up again. They showed up at my school. Now, I'd seen them out there in the community gardens doing things, but they came right in the school and they talked to us about peace. They talked to us about peace. And my family had come to this country because they wanted me to live here in a world that was secure and had peace. And I had the opportunity through them to engage in the Peace Poster Contest. My parents, they didn't know what I was doing. I was drawing pictures, and I was saying, yeah, but the people in the yellow jackets, they're going to come and judge our pictures. They're going to judge our peace posters. And you know what happened? I won. And I got to go to something called a zone. Right? And there were other young people with their families there. And there were other people who had yellow vests. I don't know, they missed out on the jackets. Anyway, they were there. And we talked about peace. And I got to think about this. And I learned a lot more about my own family's heritage because of that. And okay, I didn't win at the district. But that's okay. But that happened for me because I lived in a community with a strong, vibrant Lions Club. Repeat it. A strong, vibrant Lions Club. And then I turned 13 and I knew the internet inside and out, and I went on there and I looked you guys up. And I found out you'd been holding out on me. You had Leo clubs and you didn't tell me. So you know what? I took my parents and we went to one of your meetings. I had to skip school on a Tuesday, but we went there and we talked to you and I said, I want a Leo club, and you let me form one. And because of that, I learned about leadership. I learned about how to make motions and second things and negotiate committee work. And it was hard because some people wanted pizza and others wanted sub sandwiches. You know, it was hard as a young person. But we learned to do service. And that happened for me for one reason and one reason only. Because I grew up in a community with a strong, vibrant Lions Club. And then I turned 17 and they gave me a scholarship. And I went off to college. And while I was there, I would come home in the summer, and those, you Lions, You Lions in your yellow jackets, you had talked to my parents about how I was doing on my scholarship. And I was studying intergovernmental affairs, and I was trying to find my way in life. And you came to my parents and said, could we talk to you about sending Jennifer on youth exchange? And I went on youth exchange. And I went and I stayed in Romania with a family who also had yellow vests. But I learned to live and breathe and think about life in a different culture, in a different way, and we ate different food, and we had different traditions. And you broadened my world view. And that happened for me, for one reason and one reason only. Because I grew up in a community with a strong, vibrant Lions Club. And then I went off to graduate school, and lo and behold, there I was, studying in Spain. And I discovered my campus had no Lions Club. So you know what I did? I started one. I became a charter president, and I learned once again about working with volunteers and building consensus and bringing people together, not dividing them and separating them. And I had that experience and that foundation. And eventually, after my years of work in intergovernmental and foreign affairs, I decided to give back in my own way, and I ran for office. And so perhaps when you're asking me today, why am I president of this country, I can say to you, it's because I grew up in a community with a strong, vibrant Lions Club. And that is what your power is. That is your power to change lives, to shape the future, and to support those people who have a vision of what our society can be. You bring out the best in people. You help them to achieve their potential. And as far as I'm concerned, we should never have a community without a Lions Club, because you are changing the world. And I thank you.